This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. So, good morning, sir. How are you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. Very good. So, did Bill Belichick come to town, or did the Patriots come to town? One, to place cameras and mics all over the place to spy on the Dolphins. Two, of food poisoning. Three, Robert Kraft wants a couple of extra days in his favorite day spa. Or four, actually acclimate to weather that you and I have not acclimated to, and we've been here for 50 years.
Or 5 to catch a Marlins game before they play the Dolphins at Hard Rock Stadium. I'm joking. I'm joking. The Marlins are on the road.
Okay.
So
why didn't they practice there, man? Should have used that stadium for practicing. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I don't know why they came down here early. Maybe he's trying to some voodoo magic because they are 2-7 in their last 9 games here. Maybe he wanted to break up the monotony of practicing up in Massachusetts and come down here early because, like he said, you have to play in this hellish heat and humidity. Why would you want to do it 3 days? Do it on the day you have to. These guys are in, or they should be in peak physical condition. I don't think it's 3 days of practicing in this oven-like heat that's really going to make a difference. And bottom line, Dolphins or not, or the Patriots, however you want to look at it, this game Sunday, nobody's winning, nobody's losing because the Patriots came down 3 days early.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. It's just it's funny because the kind of practices you have over Wednesday and Thursday and the walkthrough on Friday is nothing like what you're going to do for 4 quarters on Sunday. The amount of energy and sweat and effort that it takes is so much more bigger that no matter what you did the last 3 days here, it's not going to get you acclimated. Dude, nobody gets acclimated to this.
No, you can't.
It's impossible, dude. This is gonna this weather sucks the life out of you because of that humidity, man, and that heat. It's just brutal. But anyway, it is what it is. All right. Injury wise, what's your gut tell you about Waddle? What's your gut tell you about AVG?
Well, I'm like standing outside here because we're about to go view the early part of practice in about 10 minutes here. So maybe get a better feel. But it may be that, again, all of them are at practice, but not doing a whole lot. Based on the conversations that the media had with AVG yesterday, kind of sounded like he's not playing this week.
Right.
They have a lot of depth at the edge linebacker spot, so it's not the end of the world there. And Waddle, I'm starting to think that, maybe it's not happening. We finally know the exact nature of the injury because the injury report had to come out, and we saw that it's a quad. But the fact that he's still that he was listed as limited. Again, all the guys who weren't full were listed as limited. I don't think I've ever seen an injury report that has 11 names and they're all limited.
You didn't cover. You never covered the Patriots. That's why.
Well, the Patriots would have a couple of DNPs, a couple of fulls, and then they would have like 17 names. And then Tom Brady would be there with a shoulder.
For 9 years.
9 years, yeah, exactly. So right now, I don't know. I'd say I'm a little bit less optimistic about Waddle than maybe I was earlier. And of course, I don't mean to do this to the guy, but Mike McDaniel's saying I'm very, very, very 3 times very confident that he's going to play.
That's why I think he's playing. But you know what? We're all learning right now because we don't know how he plays this game. So we're going to learn how he plays this game over time, what he means when somebody, I'm confident, or that, whatever. We're going to notice. We're going to find out because, they showed zero concerns about Byron Jones.
Correct.
And they made no moves. And we're all going, okay, well, then they have no concerns. Okay. Offensive line, 0 concerns, dude. No, 8 guys. Yeah, we may need 9, but we're not killing ourselves to go get that guy. It's that part of it has been kind of strange how they have not flustered at all. They're not flustered at all by any of that, at least publicly.
Well, correct, and that's the thing. That's the key right there. And I think what we have learned is that Mike McDaniel, despite his personality being a little bit different, is kind of like every NFL head coach, in that you kind of take what he says, and
A
especially when
little, a little bullshit artist at times is what you're saying.
yeah, kind of. I was trying to do it delicately, but yeah, they're kind of all bullshit artists at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very. Get the coach will tell you, yeah, it doesn't look good for a while, but we'll see if we can make it work. There are those out there, but there are a lot of coaches like what McDaniel's doing will tell you, like,
Yeah, delicacy is for the wife, not for this show.
okay, got it. Duly noted. You may be sorry you said that.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, it's just one of those things. Kind of the way I run my life, you know. Handle the wife with delicacy. The rest of the world, we're going all out, bro. We're going all out. That's the way it is. All right. What are you expecting game plan wise? Again, this is really hard to understand and figure out. But how do you think they're going to try to attack Tua?
Oh, from the New England?
Yes.
Well, I mean, again, if they smart and they saw the preseason, I think they're going to drill into their edge defenders. Do not bite on the play fake. You need to be responsible for your edge, because if they let Tua do the naked boot and roll out to his left without anybody in his face, the Dolphins are going to slice him and dice him the entire afternoon.
Right.
So I would think the Patriots would be smart enough, and they've seen, again, there's been enough on tape, A, if you know the 49ers style, and B, if you saw the Dolphins in the preseason, a lot of what the Dolphins did is, that rollout. So I would expect that would be priority number one if I'm the Patriots defensive coordinator or staffer or whatever. That having been said, that means you sacrifice a little bit if the Dolphins are running wide, let's say, to the opposite side. You're not chasing as hard, because your responsibility is to contain the edge. And that's what I think the Patriots coaches are going to drill into their players. And that takes away a big part of their off. I would expect them to have guys deep, to not let Tyreek Hill get behind them the way he did against the Eagles on that very first play. And then make him earn it. Try to keep Tua in the pocket as much as possible. So that's how I would suspect the Patriots would. And then maybe mix some blitzes in there as well to get him out of his comfort zone and get him to get rid of the ball.
Or you got to test that offensive line too.
Well, correct. Especially if you're going to try to target Tyreek Hill deep. Well, those plays take time to develop. Right. So if you get in his face very early, like that long pass against the Eagles, well, Tua had very good protection. He had time to, step into the throw and let her rip.
Right. No, I'm with you there. And by the way, apologies, because I'm only asking you questions that will guarantee you fail. Okay. Well, your guts on who's going to play or not, and how is Bill Belichick going to attack this team when teams don't even know how Belichick's going to attack them ever? You know what I mean? So the professionals don't know, but I'm going to ask you how you're going to do it. So
you're setting.
I just want to apologize for asking you all kinds of questions that will set you up for failure. That's all.
That's okay. I'm sure nobody is gonna point out if I make a mistake wrong.
Yeah, no, they'll never point it out. That's for sure. Your thoughts yesterday on the Tua captain comment, because he took so much heat for not being selected as captain, and it was almost like it really wasn't his fault overall, but whatever, everybody spun it that way, like, oh, they don't respect him, this and that, and it was kind of a corny way of doing it. And you and I have talked about this, how coaches can even manipulate who they want to be captains too throughout, but I thought his comments were, I don't know, I guess a little eye-opening, I guess, from what they did to what they are doing now.
Well, there's some massive jabs at his former coach, who I don't recall as he has named by name once.
Nope.
Since the spring. So, I mean, that was clear. And then there was another comment later on in his press conference where he talked about this year with our coach. Now we can critique each other.
That was my question that I asked him about how the environment that Mike has created compared to where you were and how you're going to have success. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Correct. And if you don't think that was a shot at the previous coach, I don't know what to tell you. So it's
Well,
clear.
that's why I volleyed it.
Correct. No, you did. I mean, you threw a hanging curveball and he ripped it. So no, and just like with injuries, this whole thing about team captains and all that. I mean, we get what the team wants to put out there. Let's be clear about that. So exactly how the voting went down and all that, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the way it should be, by the way. That's exactly the way it should be. And that's why, the out of all the guys that got voted, the X one is the one that stands out to me. Why? Because if you were doing this shit about, well, you got to go out there and politic for the captain, X is not going to do that, bro. It's not that he doesn't care about not being a captain, or apparently he likes being a leader because he talked about how he talks to the other guys and all that kind of stuff. So you could tell X that wasn't a thing for him either, the way to go about it. But yet, him being himself, apparently behind the scenes, guys gravitate and say, no, that's our leader. Armstead's our leader. Tua's our leader, and so on and so forth. So they pick the guys that naturally are leaders in the locker room, like a Javon Holland.
yeah. And sorry, but I'm going to break rank with you here. But
Okay.
X, as marvelous a player as X is, he has never struck me in the
Yes, you're
6
right.
years, not a leader type.
Right. I agree with you.
Okay, but my point is,
we're wrong. But we're wrong here because look at what's developed. We're wrong.
It's not all of a sudden X decided, oh yeah, I signed my new extension. Now it's time for me to be a leader.
No.
It's Mike McDaniel having a conversation with him and saying, listen, to make this thing work as well as it can work, this would be really good if you did that. And then can you go along with that for me? And X saying, sure, boss, let's do it. Okay. But it's not the same. Like Javon Holland, if you talk to him, if you look at him,
Natural.
Yes, personality, natural leader. Teron Armstead, complete natural leader.
Natural.
Tyreek Hill.
He's actually a natural leader.
Well, by example, because he works like a maniac.
No, and great, and not only that, the vibe he creates.
Well,
I think his character, gets people to open up and to make it fun to commit to this thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, correct. But I think I don't want politics is not the right word, but there's some like roster management, team management at play as well. But again, going back to your overall point, it's very obvious that it's a different vibe with this team this year as opposed to last year. What that means on Sundays, I don't know, because the previous head coach, who I'll go ahead and name him, Brian Flores, was a tremendous X's and O's guy. Whether you like it or not.
Well, on defense.
Okay, on defense. And I would make the argument again, if we're gonna bitch and moan about just how bad the offensive personnel was. Well, there were 4 straight games he had a passer rating of 100, and he didn't do it by himself. And there was some game planning that was scheming that was implemented to take advantage of what this team did well, or if you want to say did least bad, considering how completely suck-ass they were, because they had no talent, nobody who could play a lick based on some of the people you hear. So, again, it's a much lighter environment. The players, I'm sure, are a lot happier at this point. Again, they still haven't played a regular season game. What that's going to mean on Sunday, we're going to find out Sunday.
Yep. No, that's definitely it. All right. Is Iggy starting?
I would be inclined to say yes. And actually, I've been asked this, like because here's the thing: is Nick Needham hasn't been right physically. I know he played in the last preseason game, but in the practices since, he looked again. We had limited viewing, but in the limited viewing, he didn't look like he was a full participant. Now he's listed as limited with a quad injury. So
I see him as a different player on the outside than I do at the inside.
Completely different player on the outside. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think even though a lot of Dolphin fans are going to hate it, I think between Keon Cross and Kader Kahu or Noah Benagany, it's Noah who's going to get the nod.
Yeah.
And
I think so too. And let me tell you, I was thinking about this. This is twisted. This is twisted. Oh, do you got to go?
Yeah, I gotta go.
All right, go ahead. Do your thing. Go to
Alrighty.
work. Appreciate you.
Have a good
Talk
week.
to you later. You got it. Enjoy the weekend. Be good. There you go. He's going inside of practice. He's got his job to do. That's our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.